buys from you, okay? And you draw their entire customer journey. Now, what does that do for you? Okay, what that should do for you is it should be pretty clear. I hope you understand how your customer engages with your product now, as well as how they purchase it. But maybe you're less familiar with what the trigger is. The week, is the trigger a week before? Is it the day before? Is it a month before? Is it a year before? And maybe you're less familiar with what's happening post-purchase. So if you're going to use an existing product, hopefully you're going to discover and start empathizing with things you really haven't thought about your current customer, which is what else is going on that I don't know about. And so what I want you to do is don't just put facts on there. Do a lot of hypotheses and assumptions. Even if you think you know what your customer buys and why they buy it, you got to have some hypotheses about what problems they may be having in this process. If you don't, then there's no reason for you to be here, because then you're doing it perfectly. You know your customer perfectly, and I don't know why you're here. But I guarantee you, none of you know your customer so perfectly that you can't hypothesize about some problems that they're having that you haven't even thought about yet. Okay, so you can do it that way, or you can do it based on a growth opportunity that you see. There's a big customer need or an unsolved problem that you've already identified, and then you're going to draw the customer journey of them having to deal with that unsolved problem, and what are they doing, and what are they feeling, and what are the issues before, and what are the issues after, okay? Are you with me? Questions on what's expected? No? Okay, well, since we're going...
I have a question. Do we focus more on the pains to see where the opportunities are, or?
Absolutely. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry I didn't emphasize it. Okay. So to go back to this slide. Okay. As we're going, oh no, I'm sorry. I should be going back a couple of slides. I'm just gonna, and I'm glad you're asking these questions, because last year the biggest criticism I got, constructive criticism, was people went into these exercises not truly understanding exactly what was expected. So I'm glad. So we're going to develop, you're going to draw your board. You're going to have 6 components. I have 5 here, but I'm saying you're going to have 6 little boxes. And those boxes are going to contain at least these components. When they use your product, or when you think they're going to use your proposed product, okay, what are they doing? How are they doing it? Where are they doing it? When are they doing it? And what are the pains that they're experiencing doing that? Okay, so that hopefully answers the specific question as it relates to that. But I don't want you to stop there. What I want you to do is to go through the entire journey. Now, in this case, I'm saying 1 week before. In your particular case, it may be the day before, or it may be a month before. It just depends on the purchasing cycle process for your customer base. So on the pre-purchase search, what's the trigger? What caused your customer to start thinking about buying this product, or fulfilling this unmet need, or or solving this unsolved problem? What was the trigger, and what did they do at that time to start the process of thinking through how they were going to solve that problem? And what were the pain points at that point? Okay? What were the major pain points at that point? At purchase, when they did purchase it, or when they're at the stage of purchasing your hypothesized product, okay, you have an idea that this is a solution, or this is a problem they need to solve. What is the assumption of what they're going to buy? You don't even have to have a product. What do you think they're going to buy to solve that problem? How are they going to buy it? Where are they going to buy it? And when are they going to buy it? So that's either for a real product, or, excuse me, a current problem they're solving or a proposed problem that's not being solved now, okay? Pain point, and so on. Post-purchase and post-purchase, always focusing on the pain points. And you're gonna highlight the pain points in your customer journey, okay? Everybody with me? Any other questions? It's important that you ask the questions now. Are we good? Okay, so work individually. Okay, this is not a team project. This is an individual project. Work individually, start doing that. I'm going to give you 25 minutes, and then we'll come back for 5 minutes, and then we'll take our break, okay? So 25 minutes from now. Not a real Les Paul. Any of you guys players?
I try to.
Okay. Come on, please.
I play drums.
Yeah, please. Please, Mama.
Play the cello.
Yeah, so this is a 59 reissue. So it's a copy, but it's a very, very high quality copy. This guitar, if it were real, who knows how much this would cost if it was real?
I don't know. 70,000?
$1 million.
Wow.
If it's signed by Eric Clapton.
Oh, well, yeah, even more so. Yeah. So, no, but actually, even original unsigned copies of this are $500,000 to $1 million. This is only a few $1,000s. But anyway, this is a beauty of a guitar. So since you were showing me my babies and your babies, I was going to show you my babies. Okay. So before I send you on your break, describe to me what you just felt. What were you feeling as you were doing this?
I found some problems.
Shara, what was that?
I found some potential customer pains that I hadn't thought about while drawing.
Okay. Oh, is that a surprise to you?
I'm sorry?
Is that a surprise to you?
It was a surprise, yeah.
Okay. Tell me about your feelings. Did you feel anything different? Did you just tell me what you were feeling as you did this?
Well, I felt a little disappointed that I hadn't thought about it before because it seems like something so simple that I shouldn't have missed, but I still missed it. So I was a little disappointed in myself for missing that.
So what was it about this process that you think all of a sudden this popped out? What was different about this process for you?
Well, thinking about the step-by-step of the customer. So taking the journey timeline and just plotting it like hour by hour. I mean, I just only plotted like an hour and a half of my customer. And even then, like plotting like 15 minutes, it was like, oh, now they would do this and now they would do that. And, oh, wait, why they should be doing this. Why am I not solving that problem for them?
Okay, great. Awesome. Who else wants to share?
For me, it was very funny because I'm really, really bad trying to do that, but was cool to try it and be in the perspective of my client to the trip of enjoy a Chocolate Cortés experience.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Who else? Yeah.
I enjoyed it just to, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Good. I'm sorry, PR.
I enjoyed it because instead of looking at like a list of things or just everyday work, it was way different than how we normally work, and it was more fun.
What do you get a sense that a different part of your brain was in this?
Stimulated, and it was more of a quick reaction, but then you got down and really started thinking about it once you start challenging yourself with drawing.
Okay.
Sense of art.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing. Carlos?
Yeah, definitely a fun exercise. I found myself like creating a caricature of who my, vision of who like my customer is. And obviously it is a caricature. It's a comic you're drawing, but you have to create a story for them and really get in their head, but also almost in like a exaggerated way, like almost dumb, making like as dumb as possible in a way. Just interesting that you see your customers in that like simplistic way, predictable way, I guess.
Okay.
Obviously, you're making assumptions about it.
Sure. Okay. Cool. Cool. Anybody else want to share before I make a final comment and send you to your break? Anybody else want to share their experience?
Yes,
It
here.
helps.
Tony and
Yeah.
Mike.
Jorge, and then I'll get to the rest of you. Okay, fine. Jorge?
Things that you kind of think you know about your clients that are lightening up, and that this is gonna like help us direct our questions when we go talk to them and see what validation we require. This is kind of a very simple way of visualizing where they might be standing at.
Yeah, because what are you doing? You're trying to walk in their shoes, but it's your assumptions, right? It has no bearing on their reality. And so what you're suggesting is exactly what you should be doing with this, which is then the next step is actually going either to talk to your clients or observe your clients and test what your assumptions are vis-a-vis what their reality is. And so that's an interesting little exercise. Does someone else want to share?
Yes,
Brennan, do you want to share? Go ahead.
blinds. Yes.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Come back. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it me?
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
Okay. We found that we have been working with several funnel processes, where we get basically stuck and makes the customer wait a bit longer than usually expected. They would like to have instant gratification. And there are some, funnels that basically make it harder for them. So even when they get a great product, a great service and everything, the wait time is so long that they just can't refer us as much as they used to when the processes were just less longer.
Uh-huh.
Understood?
Great, thank you. Brenna, we'll finish up with you. Did you want to comment?
Sure, thank you. Going through just one example, one very simple a workshop I was left with a lot of questions and confused because starting with where do they find us, how many steps do we make them go through, too many steps by the way. And then we really don't seem to engage with them. After we offer the service, they're engaged with the service. We do not necessarily continue or ask them if they were pleased with it or satisfied with it, or how they can share it with others, or engage in the next experience with us. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Let me ask you one question, and then I'll send you on your break. And then Natalia and Sandra, can we talk while they're on break?
Yes.
Claro.
Okay, good. How many of you truly stayed in the shoes, in the heart, and the brain of your customer the whole time versus falling back into looking at them from your perspective? Did you have a hard time staying in their shoes, or was it easy to do? Carolina?
Well, since we weren't doing the exercise together, I focused on one of like our aspirational clients, which was
Awesome.
diaspora. And obviously this is like what I would like to see happen, or what I imagine they can encounter that would make them find our services useful.
Okay.
But again, I can see how it's me thinking that my services are useful for them, you know? So
And those are your assumptions. And so from those assumptions, you're going to go out and test them to see, you know, again, you're trying to walk, this exercise forces you to try to walk in the shoes of your customers, but at the end of the day, they're still your assumptions. But those are the assumptions that are the seeds of creativity. Remember, your customers, remember what Henry Ford said, if I ask my customers what they want, they tell me faster horses, okay? You're the creator, you're the innovator. So it's your assumptions that you develop from the shoes, heart, and head of your customer, the way you see them, is where you're going to build creativity and innovation. So that's a good thing. A good thing that it's, you know, you recognize it's your assumptions, and that's exactly where you should be, okay? So, awesome. I am so happy we have extended our time here. So let's take our 15-minute break. We talked about one of the personas being the anthropologist, and we just practiced the anthropologist exercise, and now we're going to combine the anthropologist exercise or persona with the storyteller persona. Okay, and so obviously storytelling is a great, you know, spoken tradition. It's a written tradition. It's an oral tradition through music. It's a visual tradition through film. Telling stories is what makes us, you know, human. When you think about it, you know, animals don't tell stories to each other. Okay, the way humans have connected through the millennia is through telling stories, and so storytelling is critically important. It is really what has helped organize society around big abstract concepts. And a book called *Sapiens* by Yuval Noah Harari, who's a very, very famous philosopher / writer, talks about how important this is. And so one of the key things that we're finding in sort of this new innovation world is the ability to tell stories is very, very powerful. And so whether we use them to inspire us or to give us joy or shake us, this is one of the most effective ways to get across the message that you're trying to get across. Okay, and again, they help us connect at the deepest levels. And again, since we're looking for stories that fit our world, stories are a way to do that. Okay. What do stories do for us? They put people and things into context. Okay. So when we're doing our storyboard, okay, what we're trying to do, our customer journey and storyboard, we're trying to put people and things into a given context. Because remember, when we talked about the value proposition and we always talked about make sure you understand what the context is, okay? It helps us capture the imagination. Most importantly, not most importantly, but very importantly, stories help us unleash powerful emotions, okay? Stories help us capture things that are not obvious at certain levels and can help you go to deeper motivations. And stories are the way our brain organizes coherence. The brain understands stories, okay? So we're going to become story gatherers and storytellers for the next exercise, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to split up into our innovation groups, except for one little change that we'll tell you about when we're ready to split up, okay? So in the innovation teams, you're going to be teamed up, your team plus another team, okay? So you're going to have 6 or 7 members on your team, okay? And 7 we'll explain in a minute why that's the case. Okay, well, what we're going to do is there is one team that has 9 members on it, but to be able to do this right, we need to split that team up to individual people just for this exercise. They will stay together going forward for the remainder of the exercise. But for this exercise, we're going to split them up, okay? So if you're a story gatherer, if you're listening to a story, you know, you want to understand the storyline, you want to understand the principal ideas, you want to understand the key functional, social, and emotional elements of the story, you want to understand the connections, you want to listen for the inconsistencies, the bugs, the surprises, okay? You know, what's not working versus what's working. Where's the frustration? Where's the anger? Where's the indifference? Where's the ambivalence? You know, where's the confusion? So as you're listening to these stories, okay, those are the kinds of things you wanna look for. Okay, when you're telling the story, and what you're gonna do, and so the way this is gonna work is each member is gonna tell their story. Each person in that group is gonna tell their journey to the rest of the group, to the other 6 members. Okay, we're gonna do 5 minutes per person. Okay, the storyteller has got 3 minutes to tell their story. Okay, so you're gonna tell the story of your storyboard, and you're gonna tell it to the other 6 members in your innovation group. All right, you're gonna have 3 minutes to do that. And so we're going to ask each team to make sure someone's keeping track of the time. 3 minutes, and then the final 2 minutes are going to be where the other 6 members of your team, innovation team, can ask you questions about your story. Okay, I don't understand this. You know, isn't this a pain point? Is this what's really going on? What's going on here? What's going on there? So that there's going to be interaction between the storytellers and the gatherers, okay? And so when you're telling the story, you want to be real and authentic, okay? You want to make connections, okay? Make connections across the different components of the storyboard. Obviously, since we're looking for the limbic effect, the limbic system effect, we want to strike emotional chords in the process. Obviously, we want to be engaging. It should be a coherent narrative, okay? Make the ideas and concepts very tangible and very personal. Emphasize experiences. As you're telling the story, I would prefer if the words you're using are I or me, and not I, the entrepreneur, me, the entrepreneur, I, the customer in the story. This is what I am doing now. So I really want you, when you're telling the story, to step into the shoes, heart, and mind of your customer. So it's you, the customer, telling the story, okay? Not him, her, or they. Not the customer, not him, not her, not they, okay?
Bob.
Yeah.
Question, Tony here. My wife, she has a story about basically the solution. You know, the other 6, the new solution to the problem. I have the storyboard about the problem or the real world right now, you know, what we're going through right now.
Okay.
How would that work if we have different storylines? She would.
Well, the solution we're going to deal with next week. So I think you jumped a little bit ahead on that one, but present it to the group, you know, your individual stories, okay?
Okay.
But for this week, for this session, it should be about what the problem is, and then we'll talk about the solution next week. But do tell your stories, okay? Any other questions about how this is going to work? So to repeat, okay, you're going to split up into your innovation teams. Each person on the innovation team is going to tell their story on their storyboard from the perspective of me being the customer. This is me. This is the issues I'm dealing with. This is what's going on in the story. You have 3 minutes to tell the story uninterrupted. 3 minutes to tell the story uninterrupted, and 2 minutes to then open it up to questions to the entire group, okay? And the listeners should be taking notes around what's going on. You can use the empathy map if you've drawn it already. If you haven't, what are they saying? What are they doing? What are they saying? What are they doing? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? Okay? Everybody clear on that? Use your empathy maps. Okay? If you can, if not, just on a piece of paper. What do I hear them saying? What do I hear them doing? Sorry, what do I hear them saying? What do I see them doing? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? Okay? Everybody clear?
Bob, and somebody has to be the designated timekeeper, right? With the
Yeah,
time.
somebody in each group should be designated timekeeper because we need to stick to the schedule because we're running close to 5 o'clock. And so I don't want to go very much over 5. We're going to split up. Would you tell who we're splitting up, Sandra or Natalia?
Yes. So, give me a second. Okay, I have it here. So Peces will be with PR Delhi, and then Mac with Cortez, with one of the Archon teams. And then we're having Alten with Victor Pollo and one with the Archon team. And then we're gonna have Hacienda with Better Blinds and one from the Archon team.
Okay, so we're splitting the Archon team just for this exercise. We're splitting them up. And the reason for that is if we have 9 people on a team, that's 9 stories, and we're gonna be waiting around for three more stories. Everybody else is still, okay? So we're gonna have 7 stories told, 5 minutes. That's 35 plus another minute transition. That's 40 minutes, and that's taking us very close to 5. We may go 10 minutes past 5, 10 minutes over 5 o'clock. I apologize.